guys, welcome back to the Community Cares Podcast. I'm Dave, I'm the Executive Director here at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet.
And I'm Chaplain Chaz Blackburn. It's been a Monday and a half. Let me try that again. Don't edit it out.
I'm not editing it out.
What a day. What a day. But you know, it's a beautiful day. We have breath in our lungs, and so many do not get that gift. And so all joking aside, I was actually really appreciating this Monday. Usually Mondays are hard, but again, my name's Chaplain Chaz Blackburn, and I have the honor of being the president of Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, and what an amazing organization. And it's an honor to be a part of this podcast with you, Dave, because I watched a clip from AI from our last episode, and it was where you were talking about the collaboration and bringing nonprofits together. And it's true. It's so important to talk about the resources and causes in our community. And I'm really excited. Truly, this is one of my dear friends, and we're a part of something called the Brotherhood, which is 4 brothers. We have Eric Moulette, which many of you may know. He used to be a captain with Sparks Fire and just an advocate for organ and tissue donation. Chris Conley, who's a transplant recipient as well. And my friend here, who goes by the nickname of Transplant Tom, but I've known you 4 or 5 years now, and you've been a rock in my life, and I've been honored to just be able to support you guys, and we support each other. And so without further ado, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
I'm Tom Graham. I'm a 2-time organ recipient. I got a kidney and a pancreas in 2018. The first pancreas failed. And a year later, I got a second pancreas. And so I've lived the last 6+ years without taking care of diabetes, so to speak. No insulin and so forth. But wow. I am truly blessed in life by my 2 donors, by the amazing people that I've met through organ donation. And it's really important, if you know much about me and where I've been, but to have Chaz and now Dave and Eric and Chris. I mean, we work very hard at helping other people, trying to make sure that if you need a transplant and how we go about it and offering the support here locally in Reno. I went to Phoenix to the Mayo Clinic for my transplants over the last 6-7 years ago, and I was very well taken care of. But you know, life is a blessing, and it's truly what we do with these gifts of life afterwards. And that's really been my goal, is to help others.
Well, I agree that life is a blessing, and which is why I'm Chaz, this is my last podcast with you. I'm just letting you know, because I can't stand doing this with you for 107 episodes.
Well, you made me really sad for a second there. I was like, what is going on?
I can step in, Chaz.
You'd probably be better.
Do you know how to run all this stuff? Because I don't. I just sit here.
I'm joking. No, you're absolutely right. Life is a blessing, and we are so thankful for all of you guys taking time out of your day to listen to Chaz and I talk to someone for half an hour plus. So thank you, Tom, for being here, and
it's my pleasure
being the person that we're talking to today. And it is such a blessing that you guys are here on this journey with us, talking about nonprofit work, talking about what's going on in the Reno Sparks community and beyond. And we're all about being united with people and nonprofits and highlighting all the work that's going on. So we're going to start with our sponsorships. Thank you for sponsoring us. I don't know why you'd want to sponsor us. Why would anyone want to sponsor us, Chess?
We get quite a few views for you making fun of me, you know?
I know. That's why people watch. They wait for it.
However, one sponsor said there was an uptick in some new people coming in, right?
There was, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let's dive into our sponsorships. Shout out to Shelley's Hardware. Shelley's Hardware is your local hardware store here in Reno, Sparks. Well, Sparks very specifically. And they've been a great partner to us. They are great people and local and small, and really when you need that nut and bolt, that's where you go. And also when you need a good deal on a leaf blower, also where you go.
Yeah, they're an amazing organization and a great local business. Has been here for so long, and a lot of people just go to Home Depot or Lowe's, but they have all the little nuts and bolts, literally. And great like t-shirts, some cool t-shirts, and around Christmas time they have knickknacks that are great gifts. So don't forget about them. Definitely support local. And I'm just he was the manager's son. What is his name? Forgive me.
So that's the manager. His name's Pat.
Oh, manager
Patrick.
Pat. Yeah, he was here to help with the fundraiser, and he was playing guitar and just a beautiful voice, and so we
Very
thank him
talented
for
guy.
that.
Yeah.
And
Quick
yeah,
shout out. I used to live just down the street back
Oh.
in the early 80s, and Shelley's and I became very good friends.
Wow, that's very cool. Very cool. Wow.
he's like he's got a bunch of different hardware in his garage. He's like, I could totally see him be that guy.
Well, then the next sponsor we want to highlight is Furon Consulting. Are you a business in Reno searching for top talent or an individual looking for your next great career opportunity? Look no further than Spheron Staffing. As the local expert in recruitment, Spheron understands the unique needs of the Northern Nevada job market. They connect qualified candidates with leading companies, ensuring the right fit every time. Whether you need administrative support, light industrial staff, or professional hires, Spheron takes the stress out of staffing. Call or text Spheron today to find out more, 775-829-8367. And yeah, they're great and local. And these sponsors, these are all small local businesses. These are
love
not
that.
big businesses. And these are businesses that we would utilize, that we believe in, that are actually doing good in our community. It's not just, oh, here's a check. We actually have had other people try to sponsor that I wasn't so sure about, that I don't think really mesh with our brand and what we're doing and why we're doing it. And yeah, I think it's really important to have the right sponsors supporting what we're doing here as the Community Cares Podcast and Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, because we are stronger in that culture, in that bubble that we're creating of small local businesses, and that's really important. The last sponsor is Relentless Business Mastery, and they are a local Reno digital marketing agency specializing in services such as local SEO, web development, pay-per-click advertising, and social media management. They help us with a lot of our stuff behind the scenes, and they're awesome people. Jason's a good guy. He actually, the owner of the business, actually came at the end of the fundraiser and helped me clean up the entire store.
That's amazing.
He's like,
Wow.
how can I help?
Thank you, Jason.
I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
And
So,
you were complaining nobody was there to help clean up.
no one's there.
Jason was.
No one loves me except for Jason. Yeah, no, it's definitely a great local. If you're looking for SEO, I think one of the things I've heard a lot from people with Jason is how important your Google My Business profile is for your business, and making sure that information's accurate. And he does a really good job going behind the scenes through those back doors that you might not know need to be handled, and he handles it. So, and he handles it well. Very, very wise gentleman. So let's get into the meat of the show. We are really interested in hearing all about you, Tom, and also the organization you're representing today.
Don't be scaring yourself, because I mean, we got Chaz here.
So,
That's right.
hey. So I want to start off with, this is the kind of cool guy that Tom and his wife, his better half, is Kathy. Does she go by Catherine or Kathy?
Kathy,
Of course, Kathy. I just want to make sure, because I don't want her to get mad at me if she sees this.
she won't.
I know her as Kathy. but
She's the best.
I
of the
thought
family.
maybe that was because I was like family, I got to call her Kathy.
Of course.
But both amazing individuals, and together as a couple. And actually, this jacket my good friend Tom gave me, and the reason why is pretty cool. So why don't you share what you're doing currently in your life and what you're about to do?
Kathy has made the decision for us, which I was totally willing. But we're selling the house in West Reno, and we're jumping in the motorhome and going to roll on out.
Awesome.
And come back and visit and do things. I'm truly, like I said, blessed to be alive because of organ donation. And I get to share that story everywhere I go and make sure that people understand the gift that being an organ donor truly is. Because I've had 2 donors in my life. My friend Chris, he's had 1 donor. Eric's son was an organ donor. And those are the decisions in life that we all can make. And when that day comes, just a short little story so Kathy can be mad at me.
Nope.
But Kathy lost her first husband in 1997 at 35 years of age. And Bill was an organ donor. They ended up in San Francisco, and Bill's wish was to become an organ donor, and he was. And part of, as we're cleaning out the house, a lot of clothes are here at Good Shepherd's in case you're wondering where to go.
Thank you.
Bill wanted to be an organ donor, but the letters that were written to Kathy, and as you can imagine, with death and being filled with the grief, Kathy never read those letters, and so we went through them together. And it's so amazing to see the stories, the people like myself who was saved. And she never expected to have to go through this side of it. And so part of Kathy's amazement is the fact that she has lived on both sides of the organ donor story. And, it's important. We do things together, share things together, talk about organ donation together, and the people we get to meet out on the open road. Yeah. And I have made some tremendous friends, and it's really important. The one reason that I really wanted to be here today is this Sunday, on the 21st, is the Sierra Nevada Donor Awareness Annual Walk that my good friend Tracy Copeland started. She got a liver transplant 26 years ago.
And Tracy's an amazing woman.
She's one of the best. And so if you're not doing anything at 8 o'clock on Sunday morning, you should come on out, be a part of the walk, because Tracy has made it so that we honor the families that have organ donors, have given the gift of life. She honors the recipients like myself. And it's a pretty spiritual get-together, and you can walk around the Sparks Marina if you want, but it's all about spreading the good word of organ donation and how it truly helps us in our life.
And so I actually met you through Nevada Donor Network, which is one OPO, and another one you've been a part of is Donor Network West. But there's actually something really exciting happening in general in partnership with Renown. So tell us a little bit about what's taken place that you recently, you were there and got a tour.
So Renown Transplant Institute, which has been sort of in the works for the last 2-3 years, it's amazing. They did their first transplant where a mother gave a kidney to her daughter. That was Melanie Davis, and Lainey, her daughter, received the kidney. They're doing well. And it was just about a month ago that happened. And for Northern Nevada, and this is truly what it's all about, because you look at my story, I went to the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix for my transplants. But to be a kidney patient here in town that needs to be a transplant, how do you go about doing that? I mean, I went to UC Davis in 2012, only to be told in 2015 they didn't want to do it. I ended up going to UCSF. They listed me for a kidney only, but in 2017, my Dr. Sullivan, my nephrologist here in town, sent me to the Mayo Clinic, and a year plus later, I got my first transplant. And it's beyond amazing how it happens, the process. We have a tremendous amount of help out there. Sierra Nevada Donor Awareness, what Tracy does is she raises money. She helps patients that need help financially to get your transplant, whether it's just some living expenses. I recently, my friend Kevin Cords got a kidney pancreas at the University Health System in Salt Lake City, and that was July 19th, I believe he got his transplant. Kevin's doing great, but he needed help with caregivers and putting together people, and I drew the card to drive him over there and get him going, and it's really amazing how teams like that can come together to help us when we're sick. I was telling Dave earlier, I used to joke all the time that, hey, if you get sick in Reno, pack your bag, you're going somewhere else. But now on some of these things, because they won't only be doing kidneys, at some point they'll get to doing livers, potentially pancreas transplants, and it takes time to work your way through all those things, and CMS, getting certifications, and all those things. But they have Dr. David Mulligan, who's kind of the lead guy there, Ernesto Momente. They're just good doctors doing good things for the right reasons. And because a transplant can be very, very expensive, and how, depending on your insurance, usually when you are on dialysis, which I was fortunate, I was only on dialysis for about 1.5 years. a lot of these folks have been there 5, 6+ years. And that's a travesty in my book. Because
Yeah, no, I think that is a travesty. So we learned a little bit about your history. So what I would love to know is a little bit of history about the organization you're representing today. So let's dive into that a little bit. I mean your history's awesome, and to be able to receive that help and possibly end of life, because when you were talking earlier, we were talking, and you were saying like it was almost a death sentence with some of the things you were going through, and so with you being glued back together and all those other things that we mentioned earlier. But let's before we get into a little bit more of that, I'd like to hear a little bit about the organization and kind of the history of it.
It's hard because he's representing a bunch, but I'll let you answer that.
Well, Sierra Nevada Donor Awareness, and that's Tracy Copeland and her sister Judy's. They put this whole thing together 17, 18 years ago. And it's been all about helping other people. The financial money that they raise is you have to apply online to SNDA and request it. But they not only help for transplants, medical expenses, they'll help you with college, educational, if you can show a need and you have a reason because of organ donation to help one another. And I'm not a board member because I didn't want to be. But Chris is a board member. Tracy's got another group.
It's because Tom's too vocal.
Now, don't share the secrets. Anyway.
We had to prep him before he came on here.
Oh, I was given a good list of nots. Oh. Anyway, for what Tracy does with her group and the people, most of them are organ recipients. We have a lot of donor recipients as, families that help out with the group. The walk's a big deal. It's her big fundraiser of the year. And I can't thank the people that show up to be a part of that. Volunteering is what this world is really all about. Mm-hmm. and helping others. And that's what that day is. Right. So you can go online to snda.com or org. I should know it by heart, right?
We can definitely tag it.
But anyway, it's Donor Walk Reno on Instagram. What we do is to helping, and when you're faced with life and being sick, whether it's a liver, whether it's a kidney, heart transplants, where you're going to go somewhere else, at least for the time being, those kinds of things, those change lives for everyone. Mm-hmm. And it's like I was saying earlier, when we work our way through a lot of this stuff, and it's what we do afterwards and how we choose to make that, I got my second pancreas transplant August 27th of 2019, and I came back from that, and I had missed the walk that year, and I had to call Tracy because I was all signed up for it and we had a really good conversation about the walk in 2019. And so I met her immediately after I got back, and I've been volunteering ever since to help. It's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of things that have to happen to get the day set up. And you will not find a better organization for a nonprofit in Reno that's all about helping others.
That's amazing. Let's go a little deeper. So this is what we do with the podcast, right? We've kind of changed the format to go deeper, if that's okay if I take over. Because I happen to know a little bit about Tom. But I want to make a statement, start out why I believe in organ and tissue donation. Some of the amazing stories that came out of the most horrific tragedies is it really brings a light out of the darkness, right? It brings some kind of purpose to be able to help others out of losing a loved one in probably a horrendous way or an unexpected way. And I've seen that happen so many times, and a lot of misconceptions are, even with tissue donation in hospice, people think that they can't give anything or save a life because they're not on a ventilator in a hospital, or maybe they've had a certain diagnosis. That's just not true. People give their eyes to help others see. They give tissues to give a more quality life with mobility. And save lives. And so I just want to encourage everybody, if you've never really thought about it, really check it out. But with that being said, there's a flip side. So yes, it saves lives, it gives hope, But there's an aspect a lot of people don't realize and think of. Specifically, I've heard you say it, Tom. Tell us about a mechanism that you've recently started, or that's going to start soon here in October, and why that's important because of what you went through, maybe like guilt and some of those other feelings after receiving your transplant and your life being saved, which is a blessing. It's huge, but there's some different challenges.
So what Chaz is talking about is the Northern Nevada Transplant Support Group, which I started 2 years ago, let's say, and we're moving it into Renown's transplant office on October 7th. We will have our first meeting. You'll be able to join through Teams link if you want to be on it virtually. It's at 4:30 the first Tuesday of every month, and we'll be other people like myself, recipients, doctors, different people there. Because what my whole goal in starting this group was to share how you can get through this with yourself, your family. Because when the doctor says, oh, by the way, you're going to have a transplant, it kind of slaps you in the face and you're like, oh, now what do I do? Or how? Because we all have choices. And it's once again, what we're going to do about it. Because I knew for a long time my kidneys were failing. I had an accident in 1984-85 where I lived on Motrin for a very long time, and Motrin technically killed my kidneys. Even though I was type 1 diabetic, it was somewhat fairly controlled. And but when 10 years in on the Motrin, and my doctor goes to me and goes, you're going to have a kidney transplant. And I laughed at him. I said, no, I'm not. Why do I want to do that? And so he sent me to the nephrologist, and the nephrologist gave me a long list of things you need to do if you're going to take care of yourself. And then, time goes on, and it was a very slow demise of my kidneys.
Wow.
But as I approached dialysis, which is no fun at all, I kept saying, no, I'm not going to do that. Ended up having a fistula put in my arm. I went on dialysis the end of 2016, but July 23rd of 2018, I was getting a kidney transplant. So, but I'm the kind of person that would say I'm not doing that. And that's that side that Chaz was talking about. But because I had good support systems, people that cared about me, my mom railed on me for quite a while about how you have to do all this, and I always felt like I had a good life.
Yeah.
And if it's over, it's over. But I'm truly blessed today. I'm very thankful to my parents, to my friends, and Chaz just happens to be an extra good one these days, that I'm here. And part of what I want to do is help other people through this, because you're going to be sitting there going, what do I do now? Well, with the support group, Chris is involved in it. He's a liver recipient. He can talk you through all the liver things. I've had a kidney and a pancreas transplant, so I know the ins and outs of that. There's truly a lot of financial aid and helping beyond what Tracy does with Sierra Nevada.
If you know where to look.
If you know where to look.
Yeah.
And none of us do, because we're just all of a sudden. Typically, the person's kidneys are failing or failed. They end up in the hospital very sick. They get a port stuck in their chest, and they're on dialysis. And dialysis is not a fun game. But to help people through that and what to do and how to make your way through it is very, very important. And that's what we try to do with our group. And just to share and answer questions and hopefully point you in the right direction to make it through.
And well, the gravity of that, though, let's talk about that real quick before you go sideswipe in there. I mean, that has to be difficult at some point. Yes, you're excited to be alive and you're thankful, but then you're thinking about your donors, the gravity that you're alive because someone else died, right?
Correct.
I mean, that's got to be those emotions too, not just the best practices, to be able to support each other and encourage each other that, what you're feeling is normal. You're not alone. We went through these different emotions at different times. I think there's a lot of power in that.
And there really is. I mean, because as a recipient, you want to know all about your donor. You want to know what's and ins and outs. And I was telling Dave earlier, my first donor was 22 years old, considered literally perfect. run over in a crosswalk on a Sunday night in Phoenix, Arizona. My phone, I was in dialysis. And then Monday morning, I get the phone call from the mail that you need to get down here. Well, I have an AirMed membership, and so it's an 11-hour drive. They give you basically 12 hours. I called up AirMed. They flew me to Phoenix. I was there early in the afternoon, and I was in surgery that night. But those are the tools that nobody ever talks about. The National Kidney Foundation paid my Cobra health insurance for pretty close to 24 months. And
Wow.
but and it got me through my transplants, and it kept my insurance with Blue Cross because of that. Those are the tools that typically don't get shared along the way, because as you need a transplant, those are always the questions. Well, how are you going to pay for it? I have a friend who got a pancreas only transplant December of 2018, and he did a fundraiser. He had to raise $250,000 to pay the Mayo Clinic in cash for his transplant. And those, and there's the GoFundMes of the world, there's fundraisers, there's all kinds of ways to try and raise money. But, it's important that we share our knowledge to help each other out.
Amen.
100%. Yeah, knowledge is power. And one of the things that comes to mind with what you're sharing is when you're suffering, when you're hurting, when you feel like you could die tomorrow, the last thing you want to think about is how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to be able to connect with the right people and make real change happen in my personal life and have the support of other human beings to make that happen? And it's scary because you're in the middle of crisis. So what you're doing as an ambassador, as someone sharing that information is so powerful, because without Donor Network West, I mean, there's not who's going to help those people.
Well, the OPOs typically, and that's Nevada Donor Network West, they're not the ones that are helping. They raise a lot of money for different reasons to bring it about, what organ procurement organizations are up to. But it's people like myself and Chris, Eric, that truly want to reach out there. And we have a whole list of people with Sierra Nevada Donor Awareness that have been through it for different reasons, different ways. And, Reno's not such a small community anymore. But, when I moved here in the early 80s, I used to tell everybody, hey, it was the Wild West. You could do anything you want and go anywhere.
Well,
be hunting, fishing, skiing.
Yeah. Well, that brings up a question. How do these people that are suffering and going through this traumatic time in their life, how do they find you? Like, do you guys find them, or do they find you?
So social media is the key to everything anymore, it seems like, unfortunately. But, I go by Tom Transplant. You can find me by Tom Transplant on Instagram, Facebook. I share all the information. I'll share the support group. It'll be coming out before the October 7th. So you can join that, whether you join virtually, because I have friends all across the country that will call in and join us and in support. And everybody's got a different story. And so we talk about that. We share that. We share questions, answers to problems, because people, they find you. There's a lady back east called the Transplant Journey, and doing a lot of the same things, and just sharing that stuff to help people through it. And, we just, giving back is probably one of the greatest gifts we can take from this, and helping other people, making sure that you get what you need resource-wise, education-wise. What we always tell everyone is you have to be your own ambassador. You have to be the one going to work on your health. And if, I when I was on dialysis, there was, which has been quite a while now, but there was a gentleman that sat in the same room for 4 hours 3 days a week. And he went outside and smoked a cigarette right afterwards. And I don't fault him. We're all entitled to do what we want in life. And I asked him one day, I said, so, no transplant? He goes, no, I'm not interested. He goes, I've got this, this, and this. And so, that tells you all you need to know. But we all have different reasons for wanting to live.
Yeah.
And
what's your reason?
To do what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
To help other people. I mean, I was honored to be transplanted, to get help. And, as I told you earlier, I've been blessed in life. I had 2 great parents that loved me. And my father passed away in 2010, but my mom lived long enough to see me healthy again. And that was truly
That's a gift.
And, and as you look in life and what goes on, whether it's your own family or our extended family, Chaz is a brother. He can't get away from that now. And, that's may haunt him for a long time. I typically tell people if you follow me and ask to follow me on Facebook, you've opened up the game. So if I say something that offends you, please forgive me now.
Just when he says something offensive, remember he has the cutest 3 little dogs ever. Is it 4 or 3? No, it's 3. Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde and Maxie.
Bonnie, Clyde, and Maxie, they're so adorable. But I really I want to say our cliche saying, which is be the change that you want to see in the world.
Yep.
And I think that you're doing that. And I love this. So you actually brought another organization from a friend with a powerful story. So why don't you give him a plug and share what that's all about?
So if you know about Lizzie Hammond and the foundation that her parents started, she was the young lady who died 5-6 years ago in a bounce house accident out in the North Valleys. And Lizzie was an amazing young lady, 9 years of age, I believe, somewhere in there. And she had told her parents weeks, months before the accident that she wanted to be an organ donor.
Wow.
That's what she wanted to do if something were to happen to her. And her parents fulfilled that wish. And now they have the Lizzie Hammond Foundation. They have a walk on November 2nd. It's pretty easy to find the information on the Lizzie Hammond Foundation. I would suggest and ask everyone to be a part of that as well, because these are stories that all have impacted organ donation and what's going on in our town and our city and helping others.
Something really powerful too is they turned pain into purpose. Besides that, they also got they helped push some legislative bills, or a bill that finally passed, correct?
Correct. Last year, the Lizzie Hammond Foundation and the bounce house accident. So, because whether people understand bounce houses being air driven, if you will, blown up, tend to fly. Mm-hmm. And depending on who you use to install it, put it up, and whether it's been certified, nailed down to the ground. And Lizzie was inside of that when it took airborne out there and it got caught in a power line.
Wow.
And so her mom and Mitch, her husband, have worked tirelessly to bring about legislation to help other people and to make them aware. Yeah. Just to try and save another life.
It's incredible.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's very impressive, your story and what you've chose to do with your life. Since then, it's not what everyone would do with their time. You personally, outside of Nevada Donor Network West, what and the other organizations you're part of?
Nevada Donor Network, Donor Network West, OPOs.
But I don't technically work for those people.
Right.
I've been an ambassador in the past, but I really have chosen my direction to go for the support group and to help people through that and aligning ourselves with Renown's Transplant Institute. Because I can tell you, since they've started talking to people here in northern Nevada, they've probably had 500 plus people go in there. It's a process to get a transplant because they check everything. I have another friend, Freddie, who needs a kidney desperately, but he had some heart problems, had to have open heart surgery, and he's getting healthy. His young boy, those are the reasons people want to live. He's got a son, and he wants to be there for him.
So professionally, what did you do before being an ambassador? Are
He
you
was
allowed
a
to talk
sales
about it?
rock star.
No, I was a food salesman. I started with Procter and Gamble,
Yeah.
that little company back east in 1987.
Yep.
And I worked for them for 7 years, and they gave me the skills and the knowledge, and I became a food broker. And that's pretty much what I did until I had all this stuff. And dialysis is very difficult. Being diabetic, I had a lot of different eye problems. They used heparin in the dialysis machine, and my right eye blew up, filled with blood. But there's some pretty amazing eye doctors in this town that got my eyesight back, and I've been very fortunate. So, and I get to live a life today. If you know me, I joke because I call my motorhome the Dyna-Roamer because it's a Dynamax motorhome.
It's so sick.
But the thing is I told people 30 years ago I'm going to own an Earth Roamer. Well, an Earth Roamer is $1.5 million today, and I'll tell you, I spent that money at the Mayo Clinic, but I'm alive. So I just another one of life's blessings.
So what would you say to someone who feels alone through their frustration, their struggle, their journey right now? What would you say to someone who is thinking about calling and asking for help?
My phone number's out there. You can send me an email at nntsgtransplant at Gmail. I'm the guy who's going to get that email. We'll talk. You can call me. I'm here to help. Or if I can't help you, hopefully I can lead you in the direction to get the help that you need. And we do have some great doctors in Reno today. And, I was blessed in 1982. I found an endocrinologist that basically was fresh out of UCLA and his residency program, and he came to Reno to start a practice. Robert Rosenquist, still one of my best friends today. And I had to fire him after 37 years because I got a pancreas transplant. He still calls me on that anniversary to wish me.
Oh.
So there is also a deeper connection here, and I got to give him a shout out because this is kind of how we started talking. We were talking about SCF, and your old neighbor used to be Scott Parker, who founded Sparks
SCF?
Christian Fellowship, SCF, which are our landlords, and they are just been phenomenal to help us in our mission and vision here at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. And Scott's such a great guy. So Scott, if you happen to hear this by chance, thank you for all you've done and what you've started at SCF, and all that you've done to help Tom stay on the right path. No, I'm just kidding.
Come on, he married Kathy and I in 2002. So Scott's a wonderful man, a very dear friend. We get together once a month for breakfast, if not sooner, and just to talk. And, he's type 1 diabetic, and I feel guilty. I got a pancreas transplant, and Scott still gets to deal with diabetes daily. And he's a year older than I am, and he's had it since he was 5. And it's a brutal disease long term. You can be the very best at taking care of your diabetes and have all the problems in the world. And that was one of the things Dr. Bob said to me back in the 80s. He goes, here it is. I can tell you, you can do the very best and still have all the problems, or you can choose not to do anything right and skate on through.
Well, and what I hear you saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like what you're saying is if that person needs help, just reach out.
Yep.
You don't have to be alone, right?
That is correct, because there is someone here that wants to help you within our organizations, within our group.
Yep.
You can call Renowned Transplant Institute and talk to them, and they'll give you my number, or however. You can call Chaz. Chaz will give you my number.
Chaz, I'm gonna blast your number right now. You ready?
Oh, no, you don't.
So
1-800 I'm lost.
Whoa.
That's my number.
There it is.
1-800 I'm
I'm
lost.
happy to put your
Is
number
that really
on
your
this
number?
if you like.
No. I mean, I'd be impressed, man.
It's my joke.
Chaz, why don't we? I'd love to hear your final thoughts on this entire discussion. What do you have for us?
I just think that if you're curious to learn more, reach out to any of us about organ and tissue donation. It really is the last act of love that you can give. and especially if you're not going to be using your body anyways. There's a lot of myths and a lot of misconceptions out there, and we'd love to talk to you about that. But it not only, even if you're not able to donate your tissue or your organs, one thing that you do donate is hope for those on the transplant list when you sign up as a registered donor. Super easy. You can do it through the DMV or on the websites of the different OPOs we talked about. But it makes a difference, and I strongly am an advocate for it because I've seen the changes and I've seen the life saved, not only for those who actually were recipients of the organs or tissue, but also the families of those that were lost, and the pain and the purpose and being able to help others. So please consider it and reach out if you want to learn more.
I think it's a very important conversation for families to have together. And when I'm at a table or talking with people, if you have young children, or if you're, it's important to know your wishes, what it means, your spouse, and because organ donation is one of the most amazing gifts. And because, as Chaz was saying, it covers so much. You've got 2 lungs, 2 kidneys, hearts, liver, all your skin tissue. And they make those decisions when we're in the hospital on what can be, recovered, transplanted. It could be skin tissue for burn victims. And those are kind of things that really, tissues. Quick story, is in 2000 I had a shoulder surgery where I had a screw put in. I essentially had the same surgery in my left shoulder 10 years later, and it was homeopathic that was used instead of a titanium screw. Wow. That's how simple it can be.
I think you're right about the conversations. We have to break the stigmas, whether it's suicide, death, hospice, organ and tissue donation. Lily and I have a lot of those conversations, but I was so proud of Lily. I'm just going to brag about her because I'm an advocate for life and the spokesperson for Nevada Donor Network and volunteer with, different organizations. She's been able to meet people like yourself and hear some of the stories at some of the events. And on her own, she said, "Dad, I've been thinking about it. I want to sign up. I want you to sign me up online to be an organ and tissue donor." And so we talked about it to make sure, she understood what that meant. And she said she wanted to help save lives if something happened. And of course, as a father, I never want to think about that. But I would honor those wishes. And I think it's beautiful that she wants to give to her fellow humans as an last act of love if something were to happen. So definitely good conversations to have with the family and just to be able to talk about it.
Registerme.org. It's as simple as that.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Tom. Thank you for being here. It's been a great conversation, a deep conversation, and we're all about people getting the help they need here at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. That's one of our hearts. That's our heart. That's our mission, is to provide hope and dignity to those in need with free clothes, and which is just a piece of it, right? Because there's all sorts of different pieces, which is why we have different nonprofits, different community members, different people on the show, is to highlight that there is more than just the one nonprofit. There's all sorts of pieces that come together in the community that really can help that individual, right? And so that's what it's all about, is us collaborating and working together. So thank you. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it
Thanks
very
for
much.
behaving, Tom.
Hey, we help over 800 people a month, no matter what. We're asking you to come alongside and help one. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next
Thank you.
week.
Appreciate it, Dave.
Take care, guys.